Alright, we here again, live trading. Let me just post that I'm live right now before we get started. Damn, I didn't even put the date. I'm gonna put the date after. About to get started in a little bit. I gotta get used to doing routines. I do the same boring routines every morning. I wake up for this live stream, post that I'm live on my Instagram page, look at Forex Factory, review my accounts, and you look at the markets. It's the same boring routine. That's how built discipline is built. So if we look right here, I'm looking at this right now. What I noticed is there was news or this new red news at 10 a.m. That's why I started this live stream late. Typically, what I do is I like to what's going on? That is interrupting me talking. All right, I like to wait for red news to pass. Typically before taking a trade, or if it's a good amount of time where I could be in a trade um before the red news and probably be at break even at most, depending on what type of red news it is as well. Then I'll probably enter before. So it all depends as well. So the first thing that we're gonna do, so we went over Forex Factory and what red news we have right now in the session. Next thing we can do is look at my accounts right here. Um, the last trade that I took was yesterday, right? But I didn't get to take it on my FXify because FXify didn't have crypto, and I took a Bitcoin trade. So it was a loss that I took yesterday, a small loss. I took three trades total this month so far. One loss, a break even, and another loss. So in total, two losses and a break even. And sometimes that's what you're gonna get for trading. That's that's what it is sometimes, and you have to be patient enough to like wait for your setup. And you got to be just patient because sometimes you can be patient and take a loss. Sometimes you can be patient and take a break even. But it's all about what you do. Are you going to continue to follow the plan? Because if you don't follow the plan, you're going to change up your plan and take a bigger loss, rather than stick to the plan and then your next trade may cover all those previous losses plus more, depending on your trading style. So this is my drawdown right here. I'm very transparent about that. I don't care about showing y'all that because transparency is king. I don't gain nothing from lying to y'all. Cause I last year I showed y'all all my gains when I was winning, so I'll show y'all when I'm in drawdown as well. So if we go here right here, this is my other account with 5%ers. You can see that I'm in much more deeper drawdown because there was some trades I couldn't take on FXify that I could take on 5%ers. So you can see that I'm in much deeper drawdown based on the balance right here. And this is a 100K account, so you can just, I think that's 5.5. We can say 5.5 or whatever. All right. So now that we looked over the accounts right there, we can just go on the charts to see if there's an opportunity worth taking. And if they're not, if there's not, then I simply walk away. It's the same thing on repeat. If you can't handle staying disciplined, you have to build your discipline. So For funded accounts specifically, looking for 5 minute entries, and I have a full step before I go into 5 minutes to see if the market's worth taking. So what we have here is we have a cycle of price. We have the flush right here. Price came down, created the context breaker structure one, which means that price makes a move, pauses against the MAs, the 10 or 20, then pushes away. I will consider this whole thing right here, this whole thing one because it's so close to each other. This one created like a breaker structure downwards, and then this one pulled right back into it. So you can consider both of this one, and then price ended up reflushing. So I can end up moving all of this right here. So I'm reading the story of price, right? So don't think of this in terms of label. Think of the price action in terms of what it's actually doing. Price action is just a story, and it's telling you what it basically wants to do. Good morning, man. Good morning, man. We up here trading after after red news. So we have the flush right here happening on a higher time frame, the context time frame, and we have a potential context breaker structure once. So we moved away. Prices pausing against the 10 and 20 right there. So my next move, since prices actually looks good in terms of context, is to check the 30 minute, which is my validation time frame. Time frame I go to before hopping on the 5 minute to see if the story is making sense on the 30 minute as well. So I'm looking for shorts right here. Let's see what we have. We need to find the same cycle. So if I go ahead and label this right here, this is where the flush was. We call that the validation flush. Price push down, pause right here, creating the validation breaker structure one. Um, we created one right here, and then we ended up reflushing right here. So I can move this again. If I want to find the most recent one, so this is the flush right here. So potentially USD JPY can potentially set up into a great context. Why? Because what I'm waiting for is if price can basically pause nicely, so it prints another candle before taking out this low right here, and it pauses against the 10 and 20, I could potentially go on the 5 minute to see if it makes sense for me to take a trade. How clean does it look? Those are questions I'm asking myself before I decide to get into the market. Because if I ended up taking a loss or break even, I want it to be worth my time. I want to be happy with the trade I taken because I know that specific entry that I took was clean enough that most of my winners look like that as well, then I know that it was just a part of the game, basically. So USD JPY, I'll leave it in green because it can set up like later on. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. I know Bitcoin dropped off from my yesterday's trade. So if you was on my live stream yesterday, you know I took a trade right up in here and then I ended up taking a quick loss. That's the one thing I like about my system. If I'm wrong, I can be wrong quick, and then the market just doesn't look clear. Or maybe I could take a quick stop out and then it goes in my direction. That happens as well sometimes. So you can see that no, we had a nice move down. That's what I wanted to see, and I was very happy with this entry. It created two opportunities as well. There was one, a lower one right here, rejecting off the MAs pushed up, and then I took this higher one. No, quick loss, it dropped off. But now that we're coming into the session right here, you can see quickly how I'm not interested in Bitcoin. Why? Well, let's go on. Let's start off with the 5 hour, the context time frame right here. So the context time frame in terms of, let me delete all these extra labels right here. The context time frame, you can see a clear trending cycle. If you look at it right here, you see this clear trending cycle. So we have a flush right here. We have the context breaker structure one. The second one, you could consider this whole thing right here two because the fact that price came back into it right here. So I could consider this whole thing two right here, and that's on a 5 hour time frame. But if we look at the 30 minute, even though the 5 hour looks nice, since I'm trying to get in 5 minute entries, look at how the 5 hour looks. It looks choppy in this area right here. So we don't have a cycle. So I wouldn't want to go on a 5 minute because it's more likely for me to get chopped out. So it's very important to understand the context of the market that you're in. So this specifically for my strategy wouldn't work because of how choppy it is. So what would I wait for? So basically a cycle. I want price to push out of this area cleanly, pause against the 10 and 20 like how it did. Um, like basically how it did on this side right here where it came out, paused against the 10 and 20, and then moved higher. That's what I want. I want it to come up, pause against the 10 and 20, and that's when I will look for confirmation on a 5 minute. So Bitcoin, I'll put it in red because it's not ready. There's no need to trade that. Just because the market is moving doesn't mean that you need to take a trade. And a lot of people don't understand that, so they're going to be taking everything and anything and it's going to produce more random results. I can automatically tell Euro USD doesn't look clean. If I go on the higher time frame, I go on this higher time frame right here. You can the 5 hour basically the 5 hour it looks clean for like bullish plays right here, but it's not ready for me to hop on a lower time frame. So what I want price to basically do is to push out just a bit more, like just start to rise up like how it's doing right now. I can go on a 30 minute. I'll probably wait on a 30 minute for some more clarity. Let me see what's going on here. Hmm. I I actually don't like this area too much. Yeah, I don't like this area too much because of this previous price action. It wasn't doing much. I want like a bit of a trend to establish itself to prove itself first, before I look for something because you can argue that I can potentially look for a lower time frame entry right here. But the story of the market previously has been just chopping around this average price range right here. So what I would probably do is just wait for price to create a new range before taking a look at it on a lower time frame. So I'm gonna put Euro USD in red as well because it's not completely ready for me. Let me see what gold is doing. Gold looks ugly as well. Gold basically looks like Euro USD on a 5 hour time frame. Like if y'all can see this, you could basically see the same story over and over. So we go back to Euro USD right here. Y'all can basically see the same thing what I have marked out. It just looks slightly different. So you can honestly know that I'm expecting the same thing. I want price to kind of like push out of this range right here because gold on the lower time frame is probably not good for lower time frame traders because it's probably gonna chop around until we can get that breakout that starts a trend. So I'm not gonna be looking at gold right now. USD, I mean I said USD, US 30 doesn't look clear to me as well. Um, so even though on the 5 hour is showing some bullish price action, like just look if you look at this price action and if you've been trading for a while, you can just you can there's a certain price action and you can just look at and you can see, oh, this price action is ugly, right? But another thing I can show y'all is price is moving higher right now, right? But if we go on a daily time frame, short term, we want to get into like some shorts, right? I know US 30 is overall bullish if you check a weekly time frame, but I'm gonna go based on this daily for now, right here, and it's showing us some short term shorts right here. But the fact that the 5 hour is kind of moving higher, I already know that the 30 minute is probably moving higher as well. So we have clash of time frames. We have time frames that are not aligning with each other. And when I have time frames that don't align with each other, I just walk away. There's no need to trade that. There's probably a better market out there. That's why I trade multiple markets because I like to look at the story. And the story for this does not look clean. And I'm guessing it's the same thing for some other stocks. Because on US 30 basically it moves similar with some other stocks. So if I go to Meta right here, we're still in this short-term bearish context right here. So I know that all the stocks are probably moving similar. Let me see what USD CAD is doing. So the daily, we're moving short term. Let me see, is it short term? Yeah, short term bearish price action right here. Let's go on this 5 hour to see what the story is telling us. So we have a flush, price moved down like this. I don't think it's good on the 30 minute. 30 minute, yeah, the 30 minute right here is chopping around. Yeah, you can honestly tell with this. So what would I wait for? I will wait for a cleaner break out of this whole range and then a pause against the 10 and 20, like how I'm expecting with USD JPY and Bitcoin, the same thing before looking for an opportunity. So USD CAD isn't even ready for me as well. Let's see. USD CHF. So I know overall it's already on bearish. We have a flush. Price came down, paused, came down, we flushed. Trying to pause. Hmm. It may actually set something up. Kind of looks like USD JPY. Look, if we ah damn, price ended up pushing down even more, but it's still valid. But it kind of looks like USD JPY if you look at it. Look at this right here. This price action. It looks similar. Like if I can mark it out, this right here is where we had the validation flush and potentially like so this made the low right here. If we can get another candle after this candle prints right here, that and it's pausing against the 10 and 20, no, it is, could possibly look clean. I just have to see how the 5 minute is looking at that moment. So these are the two markets that I'm probably going to be watching the whole session. So I don't come to a trading session already knowing what market I'm going to be trading or if I'm going to get a trade or not. All I know is I have a step-by-step process on what I want to see, and if I see it, I'm gonna take take that risk on that particular market. Yeah. I think there's something else I wanted to do. Yeah, so if I don't end up finding any opportunities for my funded accounts, I've been doing this for a while, but I'm gonna be taking trades on different time frames for my challenges. If I can't find a opportunity for my funded accounts. So, because my thought process is if I don't find any trades for my funded accounts, but I can find some trades for my challenges on different time frames, that can allow me to pass potentially pass a challenge, and I can add that to my funded accounts. So when I do find trades for my funded accounts, I'm making more money um than what I would have if I didn't take any trades for my challenges. I hope that makes sense, basically. So yeah. Honestly, I could tell that like if I'm looking at the other pairs, I could tell that there's certain time frames that may set up. Like I think it was Euro USD almost was ready for like I would say like let me see. Actually, Euro USD, like if I'm looking at this, if I was to take a 6 hour entry for a challenge trade, this would probably look good based on what I see. So think about this 6 hour time frame. Think about it like an entry time frame right here. So y'all seen how my entry time frames usually look, right? So if we assume the 6 hour was a 5 minute time frame, we move down nicely to the 50. We kind of moved sideways down here, but it's okay. We popped up, right? We came down. We're paused against the 10 and 20. You see? So if I set a buy stop above here for a challenge trade, then it will actually look good for me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a buy stop. And if I could show y'all more confluences, if the 6 hours my entry time frame is the daily time frame is probably going to be my validation, and you're going to see something similar right here on how it's moving. It's pausing against the 10 and 20, moved higher. Pause against the 10 and 20, moved higher. Pause against the 20 and 20, moved higher. So we had that move happen like one. This you could say this is two right here. So one, two. So we're still in a good context. So I'm gonna place some potential opportunities. for challenges. Who knows? Maybe next year. Depending on how my data is this year, like if I found a good amount of sample trades this year, I'm just gonna keep trading the 5 minute. But if I notice that I ain't take as much trades that I like, maybe I would implement what I'm doing here because I've been doing extremely well on challenges with switching time frames and stuff like that. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a buy stop. I have time to set it for all my challenges, so that's what I can do. Set it for all my challenges since it's such a high time frame. It's gonna be a lot of work, but there's some upsides and downsides to doing that. Let's see if I was to take a trade. Let's see, 1-to-1 break even would be right here. I'll probably put my stops like this because like if the trade is gonna be a loss, it's gonna stop out the like most likely the whole area. But if it's gonna be a win, it's gonna usually just go. Basically, I talked about that before, analyzing what your trades mostly do. So yeah, so I'm gonna do that real quick. I'm gonna enter these orders. I'm gonna look for my phone so it can be easier. Put them all in order. Okay, this is one of my accounts for this challenge. I hope y'all watch the challenge series on my challenge, my channel. I feel like it can help a lot of people. 874, 14258. Let's see. I'm gonna do a 1.5 risk. This whole challenge series, I've been risking from 1% to 1.5. I'm trying to do steady risk, but certain time frames, like if I'm entering on a 1 minute time frame and it's like an asset that doesn't have enough leverage, it's not gonna let me do a 1% risk. I mean 1.5% risk. So that's why my risk is more like diversified during these challenges. So that's the stock, like everything to be accurate. 13, okay, good. And then I just start guessing the lot size since price automatically calculates it. What's that 0.79? I think it would be like one. Here, got it. So set the buy stop here. And just like that, there's a buy stop set on 3.80. For phase two, instead of risking 1.5%, of course, yes sir, yes sir. I hope you're learning a lot from that on this series and stuff like that. So for phase two, instead of risking 1.5% on phase two, I'm gonna risk $500 because with on my funded effects, you need at least 3 days where you're making $500. So if I can knock those out of the way, so I'm risking 500 for a 1-to-1, and I get all 3 days, I can just do my normal risk and pass the rest like that because I only need 5%. So I'm gonna set this up. What would that be? I think that would be maybe it's a 70. I don't know. kind of look weird. I was like, why I look all the way up there, not even on the higher time frame. 13, 874, 874, like that. Oh, that's not enough risk. Um, um, there we go. Buy stop. So those are two accounts I entered in, and then I have this one. I'm gonna enter my. I haven't traded my the FXify account in a minute. That account, I only have one more trade. One more trade left before I I could potentially lose that account from my FXify account. So I already did that one. I'd be confused on which one. All right, that was 30. Then this one is 29. Yeah, this one right here. This is the other one. So let me input this one. USD. And the only reason I'm willing to do all the accounts is since because it's such a high time frame, it's gonna be really easy for me to manage all the accounts because I used to have a trade copier connected with this, but my funded FX had removed that for some reason. 'Cause I usually don't like going with firms that don't allow trade copying because that's what I wanted to do the whole time, like trade copy a whole bunch of accounts. Where did I put my risk? I forgot where I put my risk at. Where did I put it at? I think I put it at two. Um, I already this one I can do 1.5%. I just messed up something. I just realized I messed up something. Let me see. All right, so yeah, I messed up something for the risk for the other accounts. I'll tell y'all in a minute. Hold on. I'll tell y'all in a minute. Yeah. All right, so basically what I messed up is for my phase two. That's the only one I wanted to have the $500 risk, but the other accounts need to be a 1.5 risk because I already met the minimum days of 500. So I'm gonna have to change the risk real quick. I think was it this account? Damn, I keep getting confused on which account. I think I already clicked that one. Did I click this one? Here we go. All right, this is the one. So I need to change the risk here. How do I do that? Oh, was it this? Did I make the mistake? I don't know. Oh, I think I did it right. I think, yeah. All right, so this is basically what the trade I'm looking to take for those challenges. A 6 hour trade. See, none of this, the time frame doesn't matter. The time frame is just a way to view orders coming into the market at that given time. That's all it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enter for my Effexify as well. So I only have one chance before I either lose this account. So and that's completely fine with me. And I'll tell y'all after I put that entry in. So this is my regular funded account. I'm trying to see how much risk I have left, and I'm just gonna risk that last amount because it is a challenge trade. It doesn't matter at all. And one thing you gotta understand, it's okay to lose challenges as long as you followed your plan. Because with this challenge, my risk was varying from 1% to 1.5. Because like I said, on certain assets didn't allow me to do a full 1.5 set risk. But when you're risking higher on these challenges, you're more likely to lose the challenges. Because think about it, if I'm risking 1.5% and my max drawdown is 10, then I don't have much. So I'm gonna risk like what's that 0.30 percent. If I lose this challenge, it's gonna be updated on that on my series because I'm very transparent on all of that. So 0.30 is what I need to risk. Let's see what they heal. Okay, buy order 0.30. Let me see 0.14. And I'm risking 0.30. How much would that be? Let me guess. Nope, a little bit less. Okay, yep, there it is. And send orders. See, and it's basically the same thing like I would do on my entry time frame. If price ends up like getting invalid and it re-breaks through those MAs, I will just cancel all those orders. So it's the same thing on repeat. So yeah, there's really nothing else for me to do because for my regular entries, I have to wait. So if let me see, I was watching your USD JPY and USD CHF for today to see if we can get some regular entries, but we're just not ready. We gotta wait at least probably until like 11 o'clock to see if it's gonna be valid. So there's just a lot of patience that come with my own strategy. That's why I don't tell people to trade my strategy because you know everybody is different. My strategy may not work for you. You may not be patient enough to be waiting for my strategy, and there's maybe another strategy out there that's for you, and you're patient enough to wait for that. So it's all about what you like. You know, I don't believe that there's one way to trade because I done seen a lot of profitable traders who are profitable and they all don't trade the same system. But what you're gonna realize is most of the profitable traders, their mindset is the same. They're they're gonna show up to the market and repeat the same boring task. Because remember this, trading is a boring task. Anytime that you want to achieve some type of goal, it's gonna involve a boring process. Like for example, like me, I have a business outside of trading. For me, I have to repeat the same boring task, and a lot of people aren't gonna repeat boring tasks because it may not bring immediate results. Like another example, on working out, you may want the end result of a nice body. Bro, your mic is too low, the volume. Maybe I'm far away from it. Is this better right here? I think I know what it is. I don't have an actual mic connected to my laptop. I have one, but I have to go look for it. I actually know where exactly it is. I'll connect the next stream though. But like I was saying was something like having a nice body. A lot of people want the end result, but it's gonna take a long, boring process of working out, doing the same thing every day, and being disciplined to actually follow it. So it's the same exact thing for trading. If you look at my live streams from the beginning, because I started live streaming probably like the end of January. I think I started in February. You will see that I show up to the markets. I look at what news we have, red news we have for the day, show y'all my accounts, and then I'll analyze the market. My only job as a trader is to just analyze these markets, and if there's something worth taking that I'm used to seeing, then I take it. If there's something that I'm not used to seeing, then I walk away. Like think about it, like if trading is a high paying skill, a high paying income, and all you gotta do is you show up and you either take a trade that follows your plan or you walk away. That is very simple compared to a lot of the hard labor that is out there. And then the best part about it is the more you get better, you automatically increase your earning potential the more you get better because you're when you're getting better, right, you're gaining more capital to trade with, which automatically gives you more profit for the same amount of execution. So I don't like seeing these some of the YouTube videos online. They will make it seem like in order to make a lot of money trading, you have to be over risking or you have to have a certain strategy. They will make it seem that it's a strategy that made all that money. Because what do people usually ask when you made a lot of money trading? It's what strategy you had. When the question should be what type of mindset you had, what's the risk you put on that trade and stuff like that. Those are the type of questions you ask because you can make a lot of money with different strategies. It's not just a one strategy out there that's gonna make you a lot of money. It's the mindset. How do you handle those losses? And the only way to handle these losses is to actually understand what you're doing through various forms of testing. So if you follow my channel, I have a video on um I think I forgot the title of it, but it's something that goes with how to fix your psychology. And on top of that, not only do I tell you that how to fix your psychology properly, I actually have another video that shows you like the process of back testing like that system. Because back testing is one portion of understanding your system. Because you can be the best back tester. You can back test for 1,000 trades. But if when you get onto that live market, you're not gonna feel the same because of that patience. When you're back testing, all the action happen quicker. All the price action, if you're waiting on a 30-minute, all this is 30 minutes that you didn't need to wait for. But that just comes down to the next step of demo testing. As long as you demo test after that, you're practicing that patience. The back testing was to practice your strategy, understand that wins, losses, or break evens are needed to have a profitable system. The back testing is more of, okay, do I have the patience to actually trade that exact system during back testing? And the actual you can't it's not a live market, but I say live market because you're actually showing up to the market. But I don't actually mean that it's live funds. So when you're demo testing, because you have to wake up at the same time, say you wake up at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and you actually have to sit here and wait like that, even though you're placing it on the demo account. A lot of people don't have the patience to even trade the demo account because they want to make money now. But think about it. If you were a trader and if you ended up actually waiting, right? Following an actual long process, even though it may take um 6 months to a year before you actually start trading with real money, you would be way better off than the person who heard about trading, wants to make money quick, and they immediately try to learn about the market by throwing money at the market. It's a In my opinion, I know that there's some people out there that has learned how to become profitable by throwing money at the market, and then eventually they learn, but I feel like that takes a lot of time, and by the time you become profitable there's a lot of losses you have to recover because in the beginning stages you was making a lot of mistakes of just throwing money at the market when that's not how it works. any type of business, business works on data. Business decisions work on data, right? So if you don't have any data to go back on, that means you're just pure gambling. No matter what it is, you're pure gambling if you don't have any data to go back on. That's like me saying I'm about to sell a product, right, to some customers, but I don't do any research on what the customer likes. I don't do any research of my competition, what their price point. I don't do any research on what my angle, my marketing angle is. You don't do any research. Same thing with trading. You don't do any research on the strategy you're trading. And research doesn't mean that you go online and you go on YouTube and you learn the strategy on YouTube by another trader and they're telling you how that strategy works. That is not how you learn, because that particular trader probably has back tested that system and they know how that system works. So they understand it fully to the max. But you may not understand what your max loss streak is. You may not understand your win rate. You may not even understand your edge. Because I can sit here and tell you that my win rate is 30%. I can sit here and tell you that. But my edge lies from being able to spot the best possible areas to get involved for a trend to unfold. And when that trend unfolds, any losses, any break evens um that happened before that suddenly doesn't matter. But yeah, bars, I'm dead. Here just and I have these days on my live stream where I just start going crazy. There'll be some days where I'm doing other things and I'm completely silent, just waiting for a setup. But most of the times I be in the mode of just trying to give value or just waiting because I'm here like there's nothing to do. Like I understand how boring trading is, but just talking, just giving value just helps let the time pass by. All that. Ooh. My goal right now for trading is just to gain as much funding as possible so I can increase my earning potential with trading. Because the money I made with trading so far is not it's not a lot. Like it's already on my channel of anybody can go on my channel to see how much like money I made from trading from the withdrawals and all that. It's not a lot. Do you only trade one pair or you trade multiple pairs? I notice people have success when they just focus on one. Me personally, I trade multiple pairs, but I don't come to the market expecting to like basically I don't come to the market expecting to get a trade from all of them at all, because the way how my trading system works is there's a there's patience installed in my process, which means even though I have a whole bunch of markets on my watch list, most of them may not be valid for me to take a trade. So in fact, like an example of this is I had all these markets on my watch list, right? But this month I only took 3 trades. So it doesn't. So trading one pair, I know it works for some people, but it doesn't. Trading multiple pairs doesn't necessarily mean that you're like trading in like everything, because you have a process that helps you stay out of markets or get involved into markets. Like for example, like if you can also look in rewind the stream and everything, but in the beginning I was analyzing the pairs that I would like to look at right before, and I can automatically tell that even though I'm bullish on Bitcoin, right? I want to enter on a 5 minute time frame from all my funded accounts. Even though I'm bullish on it, the way how I trade it, I can automatically see, like I have basically different time frames I need to look at before going on a 5 minute. I could see that it's bullish, but like before I even jump onto the 5 minute, I need to jump on this 30 minute, and I see that it's choppy right here. So me seeing that the market is choppy, I I would rather stay out of this market right here. Same thing with Euro USD. It's not ready for a lower time frame. It is ready for like a higher time frame, and that's for another like on stream and stuff like that. You can look back at my streams on how I view different time frames and stuff like that. But yeah, 3 trades in 1 month is an incredibly disciplined mindset. You must be aiming for some very yeah. I aim for a very high RR. Like I don't like. Let me put it like this. I don't come to the market expecting to get a 6 hour trade, 7 hour trade. I don't even have a set target. The way how I trade is once I enter into my trade, I basically manage for a potential like large winner. So an example of my management would be like this. So this is my most recent management. So say if I entered a trade right here, where I drew that line, right? My simple management would be this. Let me even draw this long tool right here. My stop loss would probably be somewhere right here, right? My simple management would be I'll hold the position until price breaks that 10 EMA, which is the black line, right? And if price breaks the 10 EMA, as long as it's above a 2R or more, I'll close the full position. So an example of this is so price broke right here, the 10, which is the black line right here. So in this case, I would have only closed the full position at a 2.335. But there's times where I'll be able to close the position at a 4R or 5 hour. So let me show you an actual trade example. There's a trade that I took that took me out of drawdown, which helped me pass my phase 1 of my challenge. And these trades they happen more often than you think when you're waiting for a specific condition of the market. It was this 13R trade right here, right? And I wasn't expecting this trade to be a 13R. It was a simple, all right, we have a move down, I have a move up, a small pause. So I'm basically buy stopping the creation of demand or buy stopping the creation of structure. That's what I basically how I look at it, right? That was the entry, and it ended up doing where's the aftermath? Ended up doing this. So it went all the way up, and for this example, I ended up just closing the trade because it was a challenge trade, and I ended up missing by $300 if you didn't watch that video yet. But if I was in this for my own funded accounts, I would have closed the trade right here, right here. And even though it took a lot of profit out, I'm completely fine with that. I think this would have been like a 11R or 10R gain right here if I took this on a personal account, not a personal but my funded account. So that's what I mean by you can have rules that give you a very unfair advantage. And one of the other rules that I have now is a quick break even. So I will break even at a 1-to-1, quickly 1-to-1. Now, it may not. What I noticed is you need to look at what your trades mostly do. If most of your trades, when you enter a trade, most of your winners would just impulse upwards and they're not gonna come back most of the times, then you can have quick break evens. But if you notice when you take an entry, it's most likely it plays around a little bit and then it goes in your direction, or it may come back to your entry point and then go in your direction. Maybe it's not a smart idea for a break even. But for me, most of my winners, when they really want to go, they're gonna tag me in for a buy stop, right? And I can quickly break even, take risk off. And if it ever returns, most likely it was gonna be a full loss. And if it ends up wanting to go higher, it's most likely gonna make a small pullback, go higher, and then I can manage accordingly with what I talked about. I will say there are gonna be times where I break even, price may tag me out and then goes. There's gonna be small chance times of that. Because probabilities, stuff like that will happen. It happens to any trader as well. So it's just about noticing what most of your winners do as well. So my way may not fit for your way as well, but just something I noticed with all my trades right here. So this is like an example with this right here. This 6 hour entry that I'm doing for a challenge, it can easily do this where it can wick me. This is you got to be okay with either thing. So whenever I'm looking for a trade, I automatically assume it's gonna be a loss. So when I get this entry, I assume that it's just gonna do this, right? I have no expectations because I know that that will be a part of the game because that looks exactly this exact setup looks like similar to this setup right here, right? So I know if I'm executing every time when I see this setup in a good context, right, and I'm executing like that, I know in the long run it's gonna reward me in the long run, right? But yeah, it's not easy like being that patient with not taking as much trades, especially since last year I was used to taking a bit more trades per month. So it has been a bit like okay, a bit challenging, but the one thing that is helping me is just understanding like the only way that I'll continue to improve and do better is to by being patient, because patient is what got me the funded accounts in the first place. And on top of that, I don't. As soon as I hop off my live streams, as soon as I leave the charts, I'm not focused on trading at all. Like if you follow me on Instagram, you know that trading is not my only thing. I talk about it before, but I do business that doesn't have to do with trading, and it helps me not focus on the charts. So I'm not wondering what the charts is gonna do because I'm busy. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's really important for that demo testing phase because the fact that I only took 3 trades this month and this is the results for the month. I took a loss sometime in the beginning of the month, right? And then I think it was last week, I took a break even. Yeah, I took a break even on Friday. And then yesterday, I took a loss. That could be it. But it's important to follow the same system because in backtesting, you didn't know how many you didn't know how long it took for you to find your next trade unless you had like a different backtesting site that collected that data. How many accounts have you blown, and what percentage of profits do you aim each month from your funded accounts? I haven't blown much funded accounts actually. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. I had a video on it. I'm trying to think. Um, in terms of challenges, if I had to put a number on it, like for the amount of challenges I've blown, it has to be less than 10 because on in the beginning of my journey, I wasn't really focused on many challenges. I was focused on it got to a point where I was just on demo for a long time. So I wasn't really taking much on challenges. For funded accounts, like after getting funded, let me see. Let me count in my head. I'm trying. I'll say it's like for funded accounts 4 to 5 because like I said, I when I first started to trade, I wasn't really doing much challenges. But I'll say for funded accounts, I'll probably lost like 4 to 5 of them. Challenge accounts, probably less than 10. For how much percentage do I aim for each month? I don't particularly aim for percentage per month. I just trade the system. I find it better to just trade the system and let the market do what it's gonna do rather than trying to aim because when I what I noticed is if I try to aim for a set percentage per month, it's gonna um make me have expectations of the market. I can't expect the market to give me um that amount per month. But what I can do is trade my system consistently throughout the year, and then at the end of the year, that's gonna average out to whatever percentage um that's profitable. So yeah, I'll probably make an updated video on all the accounts that I lost, because I have to look back in my email, but it's not a lot because my journey from 2020 to 2021, it was more of I would so I started around like October of 2020, and my journey went like this, where I was just watching YouTube videos to like actually understand what's going on. And yeah, my first like YouTube, like the first thing that I'm trying to like get it quick, like with a story. So basically, my first ever live account was made in like 2021, right? It was a $50 account. I ended up growing that account to like $125, and then I ended up blowing that account to Bitcoin, right? Don't ask me why I was trading Bitcoin, but I have the story and everything. I even made a story of my journey from 2020 to 2021. It's on my YouTube channel. But I ended up blowing that account. And then when I ended up blowing that account, that was in 2021, uh, I didn't open up another live account. I was mainly just on demo. So the mistake I was doing was I was switching strategies, but I was on demo account. So that's the only good thing, was I was on demo account, so I wasn't necessarily losing the money. But every time when I would hit a losing streak, I would end up like restarting my demo account, and then I would look for a different strategy. And that's how my whole year basically went with 2021. I was there reading psychology books. I read on Trading in the Zone that year as well. So I was just trying to understand why my strategy would just lose sometimes and other times it was working. But the whole time, now that I looked at it, was there was nothing wrong with the strategy. I was just not patient enough to wait during those losing streaks. Now that I looked at it, 2022 really changed me because I finally found a mentor. If you don't know my mentor, his name is MentsFX. He actually helped me in terms of like what I need to do to understand my system more properly. So he's the one who introduced like, okay, you need to back test your system, you need to do this and that. So that year was when I was back testing my system. Um, I was still on demo as well, so I was mainly demo testing as well. So I back tested, I demo tested, and then I did apply for one of his challenge in that beginning of that year. I almost passed it, but I ended up failing it. And then at the end of the year, that's when I started to see some like results where I was actually making money off of the demo account. And that's when I ended up applying for one of his challenges. I applied for another one of his challenges, and I was making money off of the challenge. Like I was being consistent on the challenge, but I ended up like quitting the challenge midway because I was risking 0.25% on the challenge, which I don't recommend anybody do, but you live and you learn. And when I was risking 0.25% of the challenge, it was taking me way too long to pass the challenge. So I'm trying to like remember my reason. I have it like if you look at my beginning of my channel, like the beginning, you'll see the challenge I was taking. It was a Mint funding challenge, right? So I ended up quitting that, and I just applied for. I ended up getting an instant funding account, and that's where I got my first few payouts from. And then that's when I knew like, okay, I'm getting better and better. And then from there was like history. But I will have to make like an organized video, pull up the emails that I have from the challenge accounts, all the accounts that I ever bought, to give you an accurate number, because it has been a minute. Yeah. Has been a minute. I'm out here looking at this. I'm here looking at this. There's no need to look at this. All right, let me see if there's anything like happening now, because I had that whole story. Okay, we could potentially be on setting up something right here on USD JPY. So I talked about what I wanted to see here. So we had to move down right here. Let me just show y'all. We had to move down. We had a pause. So basically, the pause is basically another candle print in before taking out the previous candle's low, as it's pushing up to pause against that or stop by that 10 and 20, right? So if price can close like this in the next 8 minutes and it's against the 10 and 20, so it's pausing against that, and this low is still it's this the previous low still hasn't been taken out, I can then look for opportunities on this lower time frame. Let me see how it looks here. Actually, I don't like how it looks. It's probably not going to look clean. The reason why it probably wouldn't look clean for me is I don't like when price consolidates first and then it goes up, because you can, let me just show y'all what I see right here. This whole thing has just been consolidating right here. And what I want my entry is basically, if you watch my strategy video, I need price to, on the entry time frame, it needs to come up to the 50. It needs to make a move down, makes a pause, so another candle prints before taking out the previous candle's low. And I set a sell stop, continue it. But the fact that price has been consolidating before consolidating first, it can easily start doing this where even though may create a setup right here, it can easily just consolidate and stop me out. So I don't like how this looks, because all right, an example so y'all can basically follow along with what I see is, how does this price action look versus this price action? Like if I was to flip this, basically, is there a way to flip this? Uh, there's no way to flip this. Basically, I want to see, because most of my trades have been buys, so I don't think I have much sells to show y'all. But basically, I want to see like a straight move down, and then price sets up. Or if I have a straight move down, price consolidates right here, then it breaks out of that mini consolidation right here, and then sets up. I don't like when price consolidates at the top, then it makes the move down, because what I notice is it can pop back into the range and then complete a consolidation, which can make me get chopped out basically. So I don't like how this price action is looking right here, so I'm gonna ignore price, and what I'm gonna do instead is I could wait for a new, like basically a new range to be created. So basically price makes a new leg, pauses against the 10 and 20, and then I wait for the same thing. Because I want a clean move upwards, not consolidation, then upwards. Right there. So simple stuff like that helps you stay out of price to I took a screenshot. Stay out of price so you can find better potential opportunities or cleaner opportunities basically. So I'm gonna put this like in blue because I'm no longer interested in that, and drop that down there. Let me see what USD CHF is doing. Yeah, USD CHF, it's not doing what I expected. So it was looking like USD JPY right here. It was looking similar, but right now we're looking like we're gonna break back through. So if price ends up breaking back through on these MAs right here, I'll consider this the flush right here. And there's nothing to do, because after we get a flush, what I want to see is price to make 4 to 5 breaks of structures as it pauses against the 10 and 20 before it resets like this. So I talk about that all the time on my stream on what I look for. So you can basically see it's the same thing over and over. It's it's just about waiting for it. So right now, if price ends up closing like this, there will be nothing to do for the day. because all the other markets don't look clean to me. USD JPY doesn't look clean. It looks clean on this time frame, but it doesn't look clean on the actual entry time frame for me to do a setup. So yeah, yeah, me looking at this on a 5 minute tool, like even if this was to set something, like even if it was to reject nicely right here, me looking at this 5 minute, it looks exactly like USD JPY. We're consolidating over right here. Yeah, we're consolidating right here. So even if we were to make a setup, right? So say if we made that move down, we made a pause, I still wouldn't set up a trade right here for a sell stop because of this previous price action. It can easily get me in and then start doing this and continue like a consolidation. That's basically how I stayed out of price action as well. So me seeing that, I can say that USD CHF is not ready as well because even if it was looking clean, it's not clean on that 5. So yeah, let me just scan through everything else. Yeah, everything else does not look good for opportunities. US 30, I talked about this before. I'm not completely ready. I don't really have like I have a short bias, a short-term short bias right now because of the daily, but the other time frames are showing us a bit of bullish price action, so I'm just staying out of that until I can get like a clear direction where there's a potential cycle starting for a potential bullish cycle starting on the higher time frame, and then I can switch my bias basically. So yeah, I'm about to hop off the charts because there's nothing to do today. Because all the markets, like if you can see this, USD CAD as well. Um, yeah, USD CAD doesn't look clean. I want to look for shorts, but if I'm starting off by the 5 hour time frame right here, we have a cycle. So we have a flush, which is when price moves under all the MAs or above all the MAs right here. We had a move, um, so we had a move away from those MAs. We tried to pause on it on a 5 hour, right? But if we look at the 30-minute time frame, we just look like we're chopping around. So the market condition is not good. Because if I'm looking for a trending market condition, but I'm entering in consolidation, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna update y'all on my accounts to show y'all like I didn't take no trades outside of on the charts. I do it every time. And yeah, I'll let me tell y'all what time I'll be on here because it's probably like it probably looks random when I come on when I live stream. But I basically just wait for the red news to pass and then I trade. So I'm gonna be here tomorrow, like probably like 9:30 to just analyze, and then I'll be if I see a setup, I'll take a trade after 10 a.m. So that's when you can expect my next live stream. I see y'all.